I want you to stop for a second and think about the last time you read something online that just felt a little off. Maybe it was a blog post that sounded weirdly polished but said absolutely nothing. Or maybe it was a comment on your favorite YouTube video that just felt hollow and corporate. Chances are you're reading AI-generated content, and honestly, it's everywhere right now. Today we're going to do something nobody else has done quite like this. We're putting the most popular AI writing tools head-to-head, grading them on how well they actually follow instructions, and then we're going to teach you exactly how to spot AI writing and how to avoid getting caught using it the wrong way. Stay with me because there's a grading reveal at the end you're not going to want to miss. So, before we get into the grades, let me paint you a picture of the landscape we're dealing with here in 2026. According to research, roughly 90% of content marketers are already using AI writing tools in some capacity. That's not a small trend. That's a seismic shift in how written content gets made. These tools range from simple grammar helpers to full-blown article generators that can spit out a 1,000-word piece in about 30 seconds. The question nobody's really asking loudly enough is whether these tools can actually do what you tell them to do. Now that's the heart of today's experiment. I gave several major AI writing tools the same detailed set of instructions. Write a 500-word product description in a casual, humorous tone, avoid bullet points, do not use the word innovative, and include a personal anecdote. Simple enough for a human writer. Let's see how our AI contenders handled it. First up, ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is the name most people know, and it is arguably the most versatile general-purpose tool out there. When I gave my instructions, it nailed the casual tone and actually attempted something resembling a personal anecdote, though, of course, it's fabricated since it has no actual experiences. The length was close to target. However, it used a bullet point halfway through and slipped the word innovative in there like it just could not help itself. Instruction following score for ChatGPT, I'm going to give it a B-. It gets the spirit right, but stumbles on the specifics. Now let's talk about Grammarly. Now most people know Grammarly as a grammar checker, and that reputation is well earned. It is exceptional at catching errors and polishing your existing writing. But when it comes to generating content from scratch with detailed instructions, Grammarly is more of a co-pilot than a captain. Sorry, Microsoft. Its AI writing features do not handle complex multi-part prompts as cleanly as dedicated generators. For following instructions on my test prompt, Grammarly gets a C. No, okay, a C+. Great editor, average instruction follower. Now, Writesonic, which has built a reputation in long-form content creation, actually impresses me here. It followed the tone instructions well, stayed under the word limit, and avoided most of the forbidden words. The anecdote element was a miss, it just skipped it entirely, but everything else landed. So I'm going to give Writesonic a solid B. Copy AI was interesting. It leans hard into marketing copy and templates, which is both its strength and its weakness in this test. It delivered punchy, engaging writing, but reformatted everything into a template structure with headers I specifically said to avoid. When your tool has been trained primarily on template-based output, it defaults back to that format, even when you tell it not to. Copy AI gets a C+ for instruction following. Paragraph AI stood out in the testing pool. Forbes actually ranked it as their top AI writing tool overall, and my instruction following test help explains why. Paragraph AI is built around customization. You can adjust formality, tone, and even specificity of output. It followed most of my constraints, hit the right word count, avoided bullet points, and the tone was genuinely casual and readable. It missed on the anecdote element, but came closer than most. Paragraph AI earns a B+. Now, here's where things get interesting. Sudowrite, which is built specifically for creative and fiction writers, completely surprised me. Creative prompts with character and story elements, it crushed them. But my product description prompt with rigid constraints, it went beautifully off the rails in a literary direction nobody asked for. So Sudowrite gets an A for creativity and a D for instruction compliance. It's a tool that wants to be a novelist, not a copywriter. All right, so which tool actually won the instruction following test? Well, that would be Claude from Anthropic. It followed every single constraint except for one, the personal anecdote, which it flagged as something it was unable to fabricate authentically. That's actually impressive. It knew its own limitation and told me about it rather than just inventing something hollow. For instruction following, Claude earns an A- and is the tool I would recommend if precision matters to you. Now let's pivot into something that affects everyone watching this, whether you use AI or not. How do you spot AI writing? Because once you know what to look for, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Red flag number 1 is the M- overload. Large language models love M-dashes the way teenagers love avoiding phone calls. Those are those double lines in between words in the middle of your phrase. It's kind of how we use a comma, right, as a pause. Yeah, you'll see them constantly in AI output. Now, most people do not even know how to type one of those manually, so when a piece of writing is riddled with them, take note. Red flag number 2 is the classic triplet sentence structure. It's not just about X, it's about Y, Z, and W. AI loves grouping things in threes and presenting them with that very specific rhythm. Once you hear it, you'll recognize it in seconds. Red flag number 3 is empty praise language. Words like elevate, delve, innovative, and synergize. Phrases that sound meaningful but dissolve into nothing when you actually examine them. These are the verbal equivalent of filler calories. Red flag number 4 is over-explanation and unnecessary clarification. AI writing tends to restate itself. It says something, then explains it, then summarizes what it just explained, and then adds a clarifying sentence about the explanation. Human writers move forward. AI writing circles. The red flag number 5 is the vibe check. This is the hardest one to define, but the most reliable. Something just feels off. The praise is too polished. The emotion is absent. The language is too clean. Well, trust that feeling. I once had an AI versus AI chat battle with somebody in LinkedIn Messenger. They hit me up with a simple enough question about business processes and then complimented my book about change. But as the conversation went on, it became increasingly clear that I was not talking to a human alone. So I did what any self-respecting AI proponent would do. I started letting Copilot craft my replies until I got bored. There you go. So, how do you use AI without falling into these traps yourself? First, give highly specific instructions and then rewrite whatever comes out in your own voice. It's really easy to just let AI do all the work and then check it for accuracy, but I use AI as a first draft engine, not a publishing machine. Second, inject real personal stories and specific details. AI cannot replicate your actual experiences, and that specificity is exactly what makes writing feel human. Third, deliberately break some grammar rules. My 7th grade English teacher, Mr. White, is no doubt frowning down at me right now. Use sentence fragments. Start sentences with and or but. Write the way you actually talk. Fourth, remove every M- you did not personally put in there. Every instance of the word delve and every sentence that restates what the previous sentence already said. Fifth, and most importantly, read your content out loud before you publish it. If you stumble over a sentence or it sounds like a corporate press release, rewrite it until it sounds like you. These tools are getting better fast. Claude and Paragraph AI are genuinely impressive at following nuanced instructions, but no tool replaces the texture of a real human voice with real experience behind it. Use these tools to move faster. Use your own judgment to make it matter. If this helped you understand the AI writing landscape a little better, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop in the comments which AI tool you actually use and what grade you'd give it. And I'll see you in the next one.